I'm Jay Casey. I'm a senior in applied mathematics. So as some of you may know, there have been some complaints about the sewer charging system, the sewer charge system and the water billing system. And our project seeks to analyze how sewer and water is being charged and read. So we focused more on the sewer system, as water is being read by meters automatically, and sewer doesn't really have a way of being read like that. So we took a close look at 14 houses within the Village of Fredonia, and we looked at their water trend data throughout the years, and we wanted to look at how the water is being charged. Currently it's being charged based off of just water usage, so that raises a little bit of a concern when you think about summer months, when people are outside watering their lawns, washing their cars, or just playing in the water. So we wanted to propose a few different methods to make it a little bit more fair for these months.
So as Jay mentioned earlier, you probably know you use more water in the summer months. If you have kids or family that comes over, you're watering your lawn, watering your gardens. They're playing outside with sprinklers, maybe filling up a pool. So all of this excess water that you're using doesn't enter your sewer, but yet you're still being charged for it to enter your sewer. So we came up with two models that are also used around the United States that could be easily implemented in Fredonia. So the first one's called an e-meter, and this just flat out measures your outdoor water usage. So what you use for watering your lawns and your gardens. In the county we saw that this could be installed for $275, and how it's used is that the e-meter and your main water line are read at the same time, and then you receive a credit for whatever water is used on that e-meter. Obviously, if Fredonia were to implement this, you would have to look at the price and cost of implementation, how to maintenance it and everything. Although this was an efficient method, we did actually find one that was better and actually a lot easier to implement, and this is called the cap model. So what this is, it's an upper limit sewer charge, and it's based on the water you use in the winter months. So your winter months that's your cap for the year, and then whatever you use in the summer, the excess water would not be charged to your account. This actually does encourage people to use less water in the winter months, and then Jake will tell you how we used it to implement specifically for the Village of Fredonia.
So before I get to the actual equation or change that we made to it, I would like to draw your attention to the two graphs, figure 3 and figure 4 on the front page to the right side. So as you can see, the water usage in those households in the summer months around July and August is higher than any of the other months, which we draw that to washing cars, watering lawns, watering gardens, all of that, which does not need to be charged to go back into the sewer and get retreated, because that is just going onto the lawn. Also, another conclusion that we came to is that water usage is going down over time. So if you go to the second page and you look at house 3093 on the bottom of the second page, that was a house that did not have an owner change over those years, and you can see that it decreases over time. And there's a couple other houses, if you flip the pages, that you can see that water usage is going down over time. So this is because there's more efficient toilets, more efficient dishwashers, more efficient washing machines. So we didn't end up using all of the data that we were given from 1999 per se. We used the most recent 5 years. That way it was more accurate because of the changing water usage. So what our equation aims to do is to take the average of the last 2 years from either the February, March, or April quarterly readings. That we found would cover most of the winter months. So that way, when in the summer, if you use more water, if you go over the cap of that average, then you wouldn't need to be charged that extra amount to be treated. We're assuming that it's going to be like going to the gardens, washing cars, not going back into the sewer. Does anyone have any questions?
Just one house here, 1236, did follow the trend and went opposite.
Yep, so
What did you find with that house that was different?
so 1236, there was actually an owner change
Okay.
around 2014, 2015,
Okay.
and that's why the spike went up. So it was either usually an owner change or it just decreased.
Okay. Thank you.
I know my water's decreased because my kids went to college. Amen. But, and probably you're right, more efficient washing machines, people not leaving water running, brushing their teeth, and leaving water running, that kind of stuff. By this method, every 2 years or every year, we'd have to go and look at their last 2 usages, or 2 years' usages?
Yes, but it would be easy to implement as long as which I know the town is using Excel now. So you could set up an Excel equation that would easily just take the last 2 years and get the average of that.
So that would account for if people use less water, whether they use less water for watering the lawns or whatever, or more water in the summertime. But did you take into account the needs of the water treatment plant, the costs? So in other words, if the reduction shows that there's a overall cost reduction in to the residents, but the need to the municipality for maintaining the facility is still there, that means you'd end up having to raise the rates overall if there was a lower cost and then lower usage. Let's put it that way. If there was a lower usage for in the sewer on the sewer end, instead of balancing it with the water as the amount of water that you use. Then you're still going to have the same maintenance of the sewer plant is what I'm trying to get at. So did you take that into account anywhere?
So you are still paying for the water itself, which I believe it's $4.17.
The
Or
water
$4.80.
Yeah, the water itself you would, but the cost of the that's what the water treatment plant. But I'm talking about the sewer treatment plant. The cost of the sewer treatment plant is still there. So if I don't know, she understands.
Yeah. I think I can maybe speak for them. No, at this stage, we haven't take that into the consideration because we don't know how much the village is paying for those maintenance.
Right.
So, this could be our future project. If we wanted to switch to this like a new system, billing system, maybe we can have more data and then analyze, well, what will be if we have to increase the price,
Right.
that won't be the new price and is a fair price to the resident.
Yeah, that's what I was. My thought when I was just thinking was how you would describe
Yeah,
it.
the cost is
The
there.
the cost
So
is
if
still
one thing
there.
goes down, the other has to go up.
It has, right, it has to go up.
I see what you're saying,
Yeah,
Jim,
yeah.
but let me ask this though, with our base fees are supposed to be for that, right? And the fee for the production of water or the treatment of sewer are your rates. Is that how I would equate it? That the base rates are for the most part used for the upkeep and the sustainability of,
Typically, but it doesn't really cover it
It
at
doesn't
this
cover it.
point.
okay.
Well, but they're not,
And it's-
And that's not what they were doing.
No, that's
here.
I'm-
that's
if-
completely
Just
off.
trying
if I'm understanding what you're saying,
Yes, I
more
get that.
fairly and
it's just
accurately
gonna lower,
for sewer.
just gonna lower the summer usage based on what your normal usage is for the year. So it's not getting rid of, saying we use 10,000 gallons all winter long, and we go to 13,000 during the summer, we're still gonna get billed on that 10,000, it's for 3,000 what's
Right.
figuring this. So we're still gonna have that usage, Jim, as far as that goes.
It was just a more fair way to bill the sewer.
It's just for some household, they have more water used
Yes.
outside during the summer. So
Yeah.
maybe it's just more fair to those residents.
I could see that point, being that, yes, you,
I do see one other issue with it though, and it's not your data, but we have a lot of snowbirds that go down to Florida who don't use any water in the wintertime. So
That
their
was
summer
one of
rate
our
would
things
be,
we came up in our future work is how do you make it so if you're using zero water in the winter, how do you look at the summer? Luckily, none of our houses that we
And,
randomly chose had to do with that. So
I really like what you guys put together.
Yes.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It's interesting. Obviously, I'd love to see you guys go further with it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job,
Great.
thank you.
I appreciate your work on it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of information, a lot of data to go through and come up with these different ideas, and these are great ideas, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Professor.
We'll move on to our resolutions. Number 1, Embrace Fredonia Liaison. That would be Nicole.
Sure is.
Any comments, any questions?
No.
Number 2, Farm Festival approval. Comments, any questions?
There's two. Mark Mackey will be here at 7:30 to answer any questions that the board may have. But I just wanted the board to be aware of the two bullets that are in italics because they're brand new and they need to be just looked at before we pass this and discussed.
What pages is that on?
It's in correspondence in the early part of the agenda. The first one is the police escort for the Farm Festival 5K, which is new this year. I thought Chief Price could speak to that. And then the other one is the food or craft vendor not approved through the festival, Fredonia Farm Festival Committee, not be allowed to set up within 200 feet. I think that one needs to be thought about. Or
Where's that?
It's
On
right in the
page 2 and
resolutions.
3.
I think we also have to add in here somewhere that this is all, at any point, direction of the police
Oh,
department.
yes, that has to go in the last paragraph. Sorry about that.
No,
That
that's
should have
okay.
been included.
The 200 feet is gonna be covered hopefully in that new vendor law.
But this is them making the decision.
Yeah,
And
yep.
I think a municipality has to do that, don't they?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think we will have made it in the
Oh, okay.
So-
vendor law itself, so,
Yeah, so we won't read it here then,
We should take it out of the.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
of the resolution.
That one bullet point of 200 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, that one, take that one out.
That's it.
What do we want it to say? Farm festival activities subject to direction of Fredonia Police Department?
Yes.
At the end of it, yes. But the,
Thank you, Anne Marie.
you're welcome. And then the other one is the 5K bullet point.
Chief Price, you okay running that 5K?
We're always willing to assist with
That,
the things that occur in the summer. My only, it's always got to have the caveat that if we're not involved with something that would take the importance at the time. And when I say that, when there's a call for service that require all the officers to be there, or 2 officers, we may not be able to do it.
Okay.
okay.
I would, while we're discussing this, I would like to share a concern about maybe the traffic pattern downtown. We never closed Day Street and Park Street till a couple years ago. I'm not sure that it's in the best interest of the village. I mean, because we're funneling all the traffic in this community, all our north and southbound traffic right at the center of town, down Temple Street. Especially at a time when we're encouraging visitors. And then we close that section of roadway for a parade, and you lose complete access through the center of town. I don't know what Chief Meyer's feelings are, but over the last couple of years, I've seen a lot of problems with traffic. They get bottlenecked at Central and Day, or Day Street in this area, and at the center of town, with a lot of near misses, I should say is the only way to put it. I personally don't think we should be my opinion is Day Street and Park should remain open. In the past, we closed Church Street with barricades just prior to Park, so you could still have north and southbound traffic on Park. And over here, I understand they like putting up a stage, but I believe that stage should be pushed this way so that it's just beyond the crosswalk and we keep this traffic flowing on Day Street. And I know there was a lot of, I know I'm not the complaint police, but I know there's a lot of complaints about the businesses, mainly the post office, that were having trouble last year. I just bring that to your attention, but I realize this is the pinnacle event for downtown Fredonia, but I'm just pointing out, it used to be done the other way, and it's kind of taken over our traffic patterns.
And that's for 3 days. Yeah.
Correct. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
Right.
problem. I mean, I've seen a lot.
that's,
A lot of problems
Yeah.
early starting Friday
right,
when people come down, start to set up, and they assume those streets are closed.
Right.
Technically, last year they weren't yet, but in the interest of safety, we started closing the streets early
right.
because people were parking their trailers everywhere. I understand they have to set up for the event, but there's this assumption we're closing these streets for them now, and I'm not quite sure we should.
I see what you're
I'm making
saying,
a
Chief.
suggestion. I'm
Yeah.
just, I'm pointing out what I've observed.
Right.
I mean,
right.
there are times throughout that weekend that I know we have trouble navigating town. I can't
Yeah.
speak for the fire department, but I can only assume
And I
they do
believe the
too.
college will be in session at that time too,
That's usually move-in
It's
weekend.
usually moving in weekend, correct?
moving in weekends, so it'll be very busy.
I mean,
Right.
we have time. It's not till August. We
Yeah.
don't have to
Yeah,
pass it to
We may
them.
want to sit down with, it's Jim McKay?
Mark, yeah.
Because I know they have a lot of events, they do the car show and they do other events as far as on the streets. Maybe we could somehow limit them to a certain time and have them open up till 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, or maybe work for the partial or something, at least so they can do
Well,
some of it.
Those are over on Park Street. I don't think it makes any sense to even think about opening Park Street if Church Street is closed. But I think Day Street is a completely reasonable change. I mean, it's only closed for this one block. Cause it's between Church and Main.
But I think Park
mean
Street
Day
does
Street?
have,
Or, I'm sorry, yeah, Day Street.
Day Street's closed between Church and Main, but you get a bottleneck up all the way to Central Avenue. Because people coming off the avenue or Lambert don't recognize that until they've made the turn and
Right.
they're in a neighborhood.
Right, well, so what I'm saying is if we wanted to open up a street, I would think that that would be the street
I would
to
agree.
keep open,
Day
as
Street,
opposed to
yeah.
Park Street.
What about Park Street though? There are,
I agree with that.
I think that makes no sense to keep open because Church Street is closed, so where are you gonna go? And where are you gonna come
well,
from?
Yeah, but what
Park
happens when you
Street
come
does
down-
have people in the Russo building, they have businesses.
Yeah, but also what happens too, when somebody comes northbound on Center thinking that they can turn left onto
Right.
Church and go
Right.
down Park
Right.
Street to get onto Main, you're having
Exactly.
people trying to do U-turns in the middle of the
Right.
intersection there, which creates a problem. I mean, I kind of agree with the chief, and I disagree with you. I think both streets should stay open. I think for safety, for fire and police response, when you funnel all the traffic from those two roadways parallel to Central and Temple, that it creates a major issue.
There's so much congestion.
Can you
Right.
shut off?
With open streets, there's so much congestion and people trying to
Exactly.
figure things out.
Well,
Then
the
you
open
close those
streets-
streets, you see so many close calls.
Now, what about, I know at times they had shut off parts of Center Street and they had firemen's things there and stuff, the hose races and
I
things.
believe they did that for a couple hours for hose races.
I was wondering if you closed off Center Street from Barker up to Main Street, and that way they won't get that bottleneck. That way they know they can't go there, they could go up to Forest or the other direction.
And then what do you do with
That
the
prevent-
business?
That prevent a bottleneck.
What do you do with that Great Lakes practice there that has the 12 Center Street?
Well, it's the weekend, so they won't be,
Yeah, it's only Friday that's
Oh.
a concern.
To be honest with you, we've always left that to the judgment of the committee from the fire department that runs the hose race. We've never really been involved with that. They seem to close down what they need prior to the event and
Right.
manage traffic until the closure of the event, and then they move
Because
things,
I
open things
I
up.
don't think that'd be too bad, just, blocking that area off and, but then opening up Day Street.
Well, as far as that fireman's event, it hasn't happened in a number of years. We haven't had enough
She's
people
right here.
being involved in that.
Well,
I don't foresee it happening even this year,
Well,
so.
I wasn't.
He wasn't saying just for the hose races,
I
he was saying
understand that,
like,
but
just include that.
I'm saying the hose race is almost a moot point at this point. So I just think for safety reasons, for emergency vehicles, because that's the way that the emergency fire department responds to One Temple Squares up Center Street and park in that. And I think just with the volume of traffic and the volume of people that we have in the village right now during that time period, if the fire festival could compress whatever they did on Park Place and Day Street onto Church Street between Day and Temple and
You're trying
and Park,
between the crosswalks
Yeah.
on both sides of the park.
that would be the optimum. So you're just shutting down that one, but there's still
I
access.
think that's gonna be tough for them to do with
They have
car show and some of
I
the
was
other
gonna say, the
things.
car show, I mean, that has gone.
Well,
all
it's
the way
just-
up.
Could we maybe
Thought.
ask them for an amended request to only close Park Street on, because the car show is only what, one day?
Usually Sunday.
Yeah, so maybe
And the
they
parade
only,
is Sunday as well.
right, so maybe Park Street is only closed on Sunday.
And that's what they have there,
Yeah, we could
Is that what they
mention that to him when he comes at 7:30.
No, they have,
August.
they have
on
Park
August
closed for
27th.
through the whole weekend.
For 3 days.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe only on August 27th for the one day that they need it,
Right. And still keep Day Street open.
and still keep Day Street
See,
open
I'm
the
a
whole
little torn,
time.
I'm a little torn on this, and I agree with you, Chief, that it does pose a logistic issue of getting the vehicles through. But there's a lot of foot traffic and stuff like that, and having cars coming through also kind of worries me a little bit on the whole.
And I think that the point of doing that park project with the way that pavement is over on Park Place, with the bollards and things, the idea was just to be able to have more vendors and more opportunity to utilize that place for the public during that time. Not just for, parking of cars or through traffic, but for the events like that.
Setup.
Yeah, to have more setups. to have-
I think we need to, in my personal opinion, need to close down Park Street, but Day Street would be something that we probably could work with. But we can talk to Mark McKay when he comes and see what he says, I guess.
Do you want to take, is this then too premature to leave on here as far,
No, I mean, he'll be here to, we can ask him before, well, this is a,
What did you say?
it's,
Mark, would
it's
be here?
after the public portion, so we can
But
ask
when the
him these
meeting starts.
questions, and if we need to table it, then we can table it, and if we're
Right.
comfortable with moving forward, then we can move forward.
Okay.
But he'll be available to answer these questions before.
That sounds good.
And I'm sure there's some compromise.
Right,
I mean, for safety, first response for first responders, the optimum thought would be open those two streets back up. For purposes of the fire festival, that's not practical.
correct.
Maybe we can do something, where it's
Yeah.
something out between.
Yeah, I think opening Day Street the whole time and then closing Park only on Sunday might be our,
There's only so much acreage, I mean, you
right.
can't make the area bigger, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You have to manage it.
Okay, all right, well, talk that over with Mr. McKay when he comes in. All right, we'll move on to approval of Rock in the Common. Any comments, any questions? Number 4, Volunteer Fire Department Addition. Number 5, Volunteer Fire Department Elected Officers. Number 6, Budget Transfer. Any comments, any questions? Number 7, Budget Transfer for Fire Truck. Any comments, any questions? I just want to say, I think I had spoken to the fire chief previous when discussion of purchasing a new fire truck and a new aerial ladder truck. was happening, and with the city of Dunkirk also purchasing some engines with the same company here, we're able to realize some very substantial savings on the engine. And I'm not sure if that translated into any savings on the aerial truck, chief, or not, but, so by purchasing, the two municipalities purchasing many vehicles, we realized the savings here, so. And right now, the third line engine that did have some restoration on it isn't in great shape, and that's well over the lifespan of its life, so. Hopefully we can move forward on this. We'll move on to number 8, lactation policy approval.
Do we
Comments?
need a
questions?
resolution for this to adopt it? Oh, there you are.
I'm in the crowd. Yes, you ideally should have a resolution to
Okay.
adopt the policy.
Okay,
Did we determine a space where this is gonna happen?
Yes,
Yes.
the old
personnel specialist.
personnel
office.
specialist
In my
office.
section, yeah.
So if you don't have one today, I can make sure that Ann has one.
Did I not put one in the?
I was gonna say, it should be on there, it's under resolution.
Yeah, it's here, I see it.
Oh, okay.
It's
Oh
on
my
page
gosh.
5.
So,
Yeah.
It's in my mind.
I hope so. We have it under for resolutions. I hope we have a resolution for it. That would make sense. That's the whole idea, resolutions. All right, so we do have a resolution.
Oh, there it is,
It's
okay.
under
Yeah,
resolutions.
it is hard to find, it's just like 3 lines.
Yeah, okay.
Number 9, approval of piano and Barker Common.
Yeah, it's there
It's
already.
there.
It's there
Somebody
already.
was playing it when I
Well,
came in, so,
Yeah.
music, so. that's-
There's no date in the first one we
Yeah.
passed last year, so it's fine. But it can't hurt to do it twice,
No,
you know?
so we'll just kind of,
Right.
it's a nice addition. I mean, as long as people treat it properly, and it seems so far. Number 10, Fredonia Fire Department redesignated patch. Number 11, aerial and pumper truck for the fire department. Any more discussion on that? Comments? Number 12, CSEA grievance resolutions. Any comments, any questions? Or Melanie, would you like to speak anything on that now?
We went over those in executive
Yep.
session, so if there are any other questions from the last executive session, it would be appropriate to say those for executive
Executive
session, but I
session.
believe the board was ready to put them on the
Okay.
resolutions tonight. Correct.
Awesome. Number 13, appointment of Fredonia police officer. And this was a gentleman, chief, that you said, I think in your letter to us, that he worked previously, so sounds like a good fit with a lot of experience.
Yes, he worked with us, when he left, he expressed the hope that he could come back someday.
Super, he's here. Number 14, advertise for part-time account clerk. Any comments, any questions? Number 15, the abstracts, financial abstracts. Any comments, any questions? Number 16, service maintenance contract for filtration plant. Any comments, any questions? Number 17, fluid kinetics approval. Could somebody just enlighten me a little more on that? Fluid kinetics?
For our backwash pump repairs.
Okay, all right. Makes sense, thank you. Number 18, resignation of dog control officer.
I have a question about that. I could be wrong, but I thought unless I got it in writing, you're not officially resigned if you don't have it. You can't-
It should be in writing to the village clerk.
We're not able to get that, so I wanted to ask our attorney how we should
Okay.
go.
I can talk about your other options,
Okay.
personnel wise and what you can do in
Okay.
executive session.
So we
Okay.
need to
Have that.
Thank
table
you.
this.
Well, there
There's
isn't
no
one there.
There is a
right yet,
resolution.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay, we'll remove
Thanks.
that. We won't table it, we'll remove it. Is there any other resolutions that were walked on there, or anything that we don't know about?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. We'll move on to new business. Bird scooters.
I got an email from her. She wanted to have them in place Friday, but they're not ready yet, so it should be very, very soon.
Did we get paid last year
Yes.
from Brits Scooters?
How much did we take in total?
I believe it was $700.
Yeah, I think it ended up being almost 900 towards the end.
Okay.
Actually, I thought I saw a couple individuals, I don't know where they got bird scooters, but I saw.
Did you see them?
You can own them.
You can own them, but
Oh, you
they're,
can own them?
'cause-
Oh,
they're
okay.
on Temple Street, there's 50 of them sitting out in front of somebody's
Oh,
house.
so
over
she
there.
said this weekend maybe she would be getting
Yeah.
one. Okay.
I didn't realize you could even own them, because I saw them.
You can buy your own version of them, just they're not bird scooters, but they're on
Yeah.
your own version.
I realized there was a little bit of revenue from them, but I still don't like the way they were left on street corners and throughout the village. It just seemed to be quite the nuisance and unsightly. Is my opinion on that.
Okay, any other opinions on bird scooters?
Yeah, I felt the same way, that it was a problem. I had people contacting me that they were in the way of their wheelchair trying to go down the sidewalk. They couldn't cross the street.
Maybe
So,
some
I
of
don't
these
know.
concerns can be brought up with the person or whatever that takes care of the fleet manager. And it could be more proactive. I mean, these are the things that
Like, I did,
that can be brought up, that they can address and
Sure.
maybe take care of. if
I'd
this
like
is
to know
the case.
what the accident rate was of last year here.
I have contact information I can forward to the board
okay.
and the police department, actually.
Because
So,
I know that in other areas that was using them, there was quite a few accidents and injuries. I don't know how ours went.
Either police or fire chief, did you, do either one of you recall? I mean, not to, if anything comes to mind, any scooter accidents that we responded to, either police-wise or fire-wise?
Didn't seem to.
We
Well,
did
that-
not.
Well, that's good.
We did not, I'm sorry.
Right.
And as far as any destruction of property, I don't know if there was really anything to speak of, Chief Price, that was reported to your department?
No destruction of property, just people concerned about how they're left everywhere.
That's all.
All right, thank you. Is there any other new business?
I just wanted to point out on the new agenda, there's a section for department reports. So, I know previously there was kind of a verbal agreement with all of our department heads that after the workshop, you could all go. But if you guys could stay just until that point, that would be great. And then if there's anything happening in your department that you want us to know, the public to know, any nice things to know, that'd be a great time to throw that together.
Okay. Is there any other new business? Then we will move to old business, hazard mitigation plan. I know I received correspondence from a person from the county to look over. There's thousands and thousands of pages, but only a few that deal with the Village of Fredonia to look over, and I haven't had really a chance to, I made copies of the parts that relate to the Village of Fredonia, and I can forward those copies on to the board. I haven't had a chance to even look it over yet.
I can forward the email. They all got this sheet of paper in their packets, but it's an actual email
So you
with
the
links.
link, yeah.
So I
Yeah.
can forward that to the board
So
and
then
they
you can actually go right to the
Yeah.
links and look through it. That would make more sense, thank you.
Sure.
So we need the hazard mitigation plan for a lot of our grant opportunities, and fortunately here, the county is in the process of finalizing all those, and we'll move forward. Under old business, the water supply study, I know this is late, but I didn't receive this letter of support until after the meeting, last meeting. Let me read a letter of support for the study, and it's from the CEO of Brooks Hospital, Mr. Ken Morris. Dear Mayor Essick, I'm writing to recommend the approval of the proposal for Lobella Water System evaluation. I have reviewed the proposal thoroughly and believe that it is well-designed, that it is a well-designed evaluation that will greatly benefit the community. proposed water evaluation will provide a better understanding of alternatives to the drinking water system and their current issues. As a Fredonia resident myself, it is incredibly important to provide a source of clean water to the residents of this area. It will also help to reduce the risk of waterborne diseases and improve the overall health and well-being of the community. Furthermore, as the hospital pursues a relocation to Fredonia, it is imperative that we have a water system we can count on. Our main water source will be primarily supplied through the Village of Fredonia, but we'll have a second connector which will provide us with water from the city of Dunkirk as a contingency should we need it. Both water sources and connectors are a vital part of our design and need to be able to be confidently know we have two viable water sources. Last, the concerns related to water supply and its reliability is a public matter that can be researched by many prospective investors. A clean, reliable water supply is a critical resource for all businesses and local economy. If we expect the business community to invest in Fredonia, improvements in a clean, reliable water supply will be necessary to bring additional jobs to the area. In conclusion, I strongly recommend the approval of the proposal for the water system evaluation. It is a well-planned and necessary initiative that will have a positive impact on the community, businesses, and its future. Sincerely, Kenneth Morris. So, I know it's a moot point, but I just wanted the board to understand that it's an important part for the hospital, and I know the University of Fredonia
There's
too.
a lot of inaccuracies in that letter, though.
I didn't craft it, it's not
I
mine,
know.
it's the CEO of Brooks
Well,
Hospital, so.
I just don't want people thinking we have bad water, that
I mean,
we've got to go to
reduce the
Dunkirk
risk
right
of
now.
waterborne diseases. I mean,
They make it sound terrible.
We have safe water.
We have safe water until we have, I think what the point he was trying to make is when we have the boil water orders and we have
If-
the
We've
turbidity in
taken
the
care of
water that that bacteria could attach to. When we have those things, and we've had unfortunately 3 in the last 5 or 7 years, so.
If you have a boil water order, and anything within the system that's connected has to be tested to be safe. You can't shut something off that's connected and then have it all of a sudden brought water from someplace else and now it's safe. That section has to be tested until it's determined to be safe. Correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, so.
That's why we didn't receive water from the city of Dunkirk
That's
during the 30-day
That's
water boil order.
correct.
Or 3-week, whatever it was. It
So
wasn't
I wanted to make that clear on this, it is not the case. You can't just shut one off and turn the other on. It's now it's okay. And the other thing in here is there seems to be this misunderstanding. I heard it described from the president of the hospital board, but also
You have a
from.
letter as well? Did the
but
board
I-
get a letter?
Yes, all the board members should have received this.
I did not know that.
So, and I think they have this misunderstanding that there's a second connector directly from City of Dunkirk to the hospital itself.
They
And
are creating it.
Yeah.
It is happening.
They
That is
They can- no,
from the,
that-
they
this
said
is-
that they had to include that in their site plans.
They did not. I have the approved site plan. It was approved by our code department and the board, and it was sent to the state as being approved. It was approved by them. And the plan itself, I actually talked to our code enforcement officer about this. There is not and will not be a second connection directly with the hospital itself. That we have, the connections are from a 12-inch main on Main Street and a 12-inch main on Route 60. Those are both Village of Fredonia owned 12-inch mains. If there's an issue where we have to, say, a water main break or something that we, not causing a boil water order, but there's a need to shut off one area, we could do that and still have supplied water from the other area, but those are still both Fredonia main lines. Where the second source is is Lake Erie from Dunkirk through our connections that we have established, which would be on Vineyard Drive, Route 20, east and west, both, or all three of those connections. Those are considered your second source of water. That's what is the understanding of the board, of the planning board, the approval of the code enforcement officer. I discussed it thoroughly with him, and that's how the plan design has in the plan. I reviewed the plan. The design work is right clear. It states exactly what they are, and so I don't want there to be any misunderstanding that they can't. The city of Dunkirk can't bring a main line into the Village of Fredonia without a change in the charter. Okay, that would have to be a public referendum. We have in our charter that we supply all of the village with water. That they just cannot bring a main line up just because it's the hospital. Wasn't ever the understanding, and still isn't. The hospital plan that's approved is as such, the way I described it. I just want to make that perfectly clear. They cannot bring in a line.
Directly to an individual business.
An
It has to be
individual
connected
business.
to our water system, which is
Which
what
we
it
have.
currently is.
Then I think someone should probably reach out to the Brook CEO to have that discussion, because in my discussions with him, he has, indicated that that's kind of a state requirement, that they've required that of them,
There's
and
not
to
a-
make sure.
The state
When did you
requirement
talk
was for a
to-
second
There's-
redundant water
there's n-
source.
So-
I spoke to our code
redundancy.
department, and they
So
said
I
it's
think-
not a hospital in this state that has that.
Okay, be that as it
Yeah,
may,
I
if
think
that is
that's-
his impression, then probably somebody from the board should reach out to him and have a discussion,
Wow.
invite him here, so that way all of these, questions can be answered and things can be cleared up.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't
his
believe
letter
that
is
he-
not binding that the
No.
village, that this is gonna happen. It's a letter of support for the study. He, obviously, the different things that he stated in there may not be accurate or correct.
He should understand what his hospital is, the way his hospital is being built. I mean, the president of the board should understand the design work. The engineering design work.
Regardless, the hospital, under the plans, are required two separate water sources for redundancy. And with our, the study here, it's gonna show whether our current connections are adequate for redundancy in water systems totally, or it's not, and some different options to move forward. So that's where we're at with that. It was just a letter of support for the water study. I have one other thing. I was contacted by Supervisor Pecos from the town of Pomfret. He wanted to know if the board is amenable to supplying them with their phase 2 of their water expansion, now that we have things squared away in our billing and the contract and everything moving forward.
I mean, if they're
We have to wait.
if everyone was waiting on these numbers from our engineering, I think we should wait to see where that ends up.
If they end
agree.
up where it shows that our plant has the capacity, is the board
Yes.
willing to do that? I had I texted Trustee Esperson earlier because I knew he wasn't going to be here. He thinks that we should expand our customer base when we renegotiate the contract with the town. It will be in our best interest to have as many users as possible, whatever our water source may be. So,
Yeah, if it's deemed
Yeah.
it is feasible without putting the residents within the village at risk in any way, yeah, I think it's smart.
so that's another reason why we need to have this water study moving forward, and I wished it was moving forward long before now, because a lot of things are dependent on this study to happen. Are there any other old business that needs to be handled?
Just an update on the vendor law. The code enforcement, or the planning board is gonna have a meeting tomorrow night to finalize, with some help from Melanie, what they're gonna recommend to us. And then we'll hold a public hearing, which we'll schedule after the next meeting.
Okay. Is there any other old business? Then we will take a quick 15-minute break before we start our village trustees meeting. Thank you.
Do we think executive session would only take 15 minutes?
Melanie, would you think executive session might only take 15 minutes, or should we do it at I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And can we have approval of the minutes, please?
Whereas members of this board have read the official minutes of the Board of Trustees' regular meeting of May 1st, 2023, now therefore be it resolved that the board hereby approves the minutes as entered into the official minutes, and be it further resolved that the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden?
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Byrd? Aye. Trustee Syracuse?
Aye.
Carried.
This portion of the meeting is for public comment. Any member of the meeting wishing to speak, once recognized, shall stand at the microphone and state their name and address. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes if speaking for themselves, or 5 minutes if speaking on behalf of a group. I will ask the speakers to refrain from remarks that are in poor taste, slanderous, or not germane to any action taken or contemplated by the board.
Thank you. If there's anybody who would like to address the board, please stand to the podium.
Tonight, read this to you. Attention Village of Fredonia Clerk, attention Village of Fredonia Zoning and Permits Officer. Under the provisions of the New York State Freedom of Information Law, Article 6, the public offices, I hereby request any and all certificates of insurance submitted to the Village of Fredonia, New York, for the 2023 season for the Fredonia Farmers Market. I CC to the State Controller's Office. And this is important because they're under the EBT and the SNAP thing, so all that should be public. They're under that. What is it? SNAP, I believe they hand out, and so that last time I did it, I got kind of a half response to what I asked for. It was one document that didn't list any names on it. It only had somebody's address in the farmer's market, and it had a little thing in the corner. It's supposed to be addressed to the Village of Fredonia. It's supposed to come from the insurance company direct, and if there's multi people on that list that's with the same insurance company, they have to list each one. And that'll even the playing field there, because I know in the past they've been reluctant to give it to me, but I did find out from the office that since they are collecting SNAP and distributing it, they have to surrender that information. It's public information. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? Please stand at the podium.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Annalise Briegel. I am representing the Fredonia Farmers Market, and I would like to speak in regards to the upcoming discussion on the planning board for the new vendor law. There are significant concerns and questions that we have as an organization about this proposal that we feel is important for the trustees to be on the same page with us as well as the planning board before any proposals or considerations are made before public discussion and a vote on this. I assume everyone received a letter that was sent to you last week for your perusal. I won't read the letter, however, I would like to go over some of the primary contents and explain to you why it's so significantly relevant in regard to this new vendor law and how that impacts the constituents of the Village of Fredonia. As the village code proposal has currently been written, it contains significant vagaries that are unclear to how they would pertain to individual vendors, specifically vendors that are under the umbrella of larger organizations. The result of this is that individuals who need to apply for a permit would be under any vendor, and this we're looking at between the Fredonia Farmers Market, the Farm Festivals Fredonia, and then any other vendors affiliated with any other large event, such as the Italian Festival or Rock the Commons, would be hundreds of individuals. It's unclear to us as an organization how the village is prepared to manage that number of individual requests and get them accomplished in a timely manner. We do have significant concerns that this additional permitting of individual vendors will end up in the long run discouraging food producers from participating in organizations such as a farmer's market. In addition, the farmer's market in Fredonia is a component, a single component, but is equally as important as other locations such as roadside farmers stands and local farms as part of a local food system. It's become apparent to myself and to the board of the Fredonia Farmers Market that there are significant misunderstandings of the role that the Fredonia Farmers Market plays within this local food system, and particularly within the local Fredonia area. We are specifically dedicated to a mission of providing local foods and fresh fruits and vegetables and nutritious food products to local individuals within the Fredonia area, but one of the primary sources that we serve is as a direct connection point between low-income individuals who receive EBT benefits and connect them directly to locally produced, locally grown, and locally made food products that are healthy and nutritious.
That's 3 minutes.
I'm representing a larger organization. Thank you. In the last 3 years since the start of the COVID pandemic, our numbers have significantly grown, with as many as 30 to 40 new individuals every year coming to spend their SNAP money at the market, and our numbers are now exceeding $30,000 of government benefits, that 100% of those proceeds go straight back to farmers within the local food system. It is critically important for you to understand that we serve only one purpose, and that is to provide the local community with fresh food that is healthy and nutritious. None of it is going directly into corporate grocery stores, which are the only local, anything that local where you go grocery shopping is going to be going to a national or international corporation. We would like to encourage the board here to consider including an exemption for vendors under a Fredonia farmers market or a farmers market just in general to protect them from having to undergo additional burdens to vend within the Village of Fredonia so that it doesn't impact or debilitate the local food system in any way. The city of Jamestown has passed a zoning code to protect vendors in order for the sole purpose of protecting the integrity of their local food system, and we encourage you to do the same so that the local farmers, the local food producers, and the local vendors within Fredonia do not need to face additional burdens on top of federal, state, county, and local permits, inspections, testing, etc., fees that they must already undergo in order to sell food publicly. And if you have any additional questions, comments, or concerns regarding the role the Fredonia Farmers Market plays in connecting local individuals to your local food system, I would encourage you please to reach out and connect with me. I would be more than willing to meet with any of you to give you additional information. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
Perfect
you.
timing.
Yes.
My name is Rebecca Joy.
Thank you.
I'm from Fredonia.
Are you speaking on behalf of a group or are you by yourself?
I'm speaking on behalf of my business. As I said, my name's Rebecca Joy. I'm the sole proprietor of Enjoyable Acres LLC, which is based in Fredonia. We just purchased a second farm that's located in Brockton as well. My husband and I together, we raise Welch's grape juice for grapes for Welch's grape juice, along with, you can find me every Saturday with my 5 children here at the Fredonia Farmers Market, either in the summer market or in the winter market as well. I've been working at the as a vendor for 11 years, selling a variety of items, and my one goal in mind is to feed the local families. I have a variety of people. There's no rhyme or reason to their ethnicity, culture, age range, or class in our area. I take care of people including Grace, who has a fixed income, and she's a retiree that can only spend so much money. I also take care of people like Laura, who comes all the way from Chautauqua Institution to not only come to the farmers market and spend quite a lot of money with many vendors, then she goes out and has brunch with multiple friends. We also take care of people like Claudia, who has a neurodivergent son and depends on SNAP benefits in order to feed her family. Claudia comes to me every week with a set amount of money that she is allowed to spend, and I happily oblige to feed her family. People come to the farmers market just not only for local food, but they also want to be able to participate in lowering their admission fees by shopping local. They also want to be able to utilize their SNAP benefits when they can. And also they want to help the local economy. Right now in this stage of life, we're dealing with every dollar counts. And if that means that I have to add an extra fee into my farm, that means I have to put it towards my farm and my animals as well, which means I have to increase my costs. These people aren't just customers because I don't call them customers. They're people to me. Every week they come visit me at the table to talk and socialize. There are a lot of people that come from One Temple Square that in any other situation cannot get to Finan's Farm, cannot get all the way over to Roberto Fred's or to Yerico's because of their disabilities or their lack of transportation. They are able to walk over here or ride on their scooters, wheelchairs, or with an escort and get here and be able to purchase the majority of their groceries here in the Commons. So I would like you to really consider this fee that you may be adding on to us as a vendor. Not only will it take care of bothering my bottom line, but also I will have to find time in order to come to the village to fill out the permits or the licensing that I do not have extra time to do because we are farmers and we are farming 24/7. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board?
Do we have someone here from the Fredonia Farm Festival? We had a couple questions for you if you wanted to step up to the podium. So we had concerns just about the road closures, and we're wondering if we could amend those in any way. I think we were looking at leaving Day Street open, not closing that at all, and then only closing Park Street on Sunday when you have the car show.
The problem with that is my stage blocks Day Street. I can't move it any closer this way because then the food vendors are in the way. I also have other events that happen along Day Street. Park Street, I have a tractor pull for kids. I have a demolition derby for kids on other days. So closing Park Street, I don't have a place for that. So that's my issues.
Any other questions? Mr. McKay?
Well, I guess we were concerned, I know our chief was concerned about the traffic, that only Temple Street would be open for those 3 days.
It's the way it's been for 55 years. I don't understand.
I would disagree with that.
It's definitely been that way for 10 years.
Since we've been.
So, I mean, I've been part of it for 10 years, so.
We used to temporarily close Day Street for setup, but then reopen it.
No, the stage has always been right in front. I don't want to argue with that.
I don't want to argue either.
Well, there was safety concerns. There were safety concerns with emergency vehicles and just traffic all being funneled onto Temple Street. I know it's been done forever. Doesn't mean necessarily it's wrong. Doesn't necessarily mean it's right. There was concerns, and there were. I think the board was wondering to see if could be any kind of compromise on any of the two streets there being open at any point. And you're saying pretty much not.
No, with the stage blocking it, it's open, here that people go through the post office there. But Park Street, I mean, we can just close it when we do our events and then Sunday close it for the car show. I can work with you that way. But the one event is Friday night, or Friday 5 or 6, I can't remember off the top of my head, and then the other event's Saturday at 2 or 3. That's
And
the
that's
demolition
Park
derby
Street?
for the, that's on Park.
Would it be possible to move that event to 4 or 5 and close it from 4 or 5 until on each night on Park Street, except for the car show day?
No, the tractor, being at Friday night, the tractor pull is always at 6.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is there a way that we could close Park Street 5 o'clock until midnight, Friday night, Saturday night, and then all day on Sunday, as opposed to closing it at 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock and then opening it back up or something like that?
Oh, I mean, I can do that. I can move the time of the demolition derby.
I mean, at least that would help keep the street open during the daytime when the businesses are open, and then at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
We can close it down.
The only thing we get into there is the people parking on the road and then trying to get those cars moved. That's the issue, and I don't want to get any of them hit with a car going out of control or a tractor going out of control. So that's my concern with that. But I can do it.
My concern is opening, closing streets. When traffic's moving, that's what's gonna cause the accident, when people are trying to determine whether that street's closed or not. It's either the street's closed for the weekend or the street's open. So it's my suggestion that Day Street remains open and we close Park. But there's gotta be a secondary access to this north-south traffic besides Temple Street.
Is it possible to move some of the food vendors onto Church Street and move the stage forward?
No, because of the farmer's market that's over there.
Farmers market's usually on the one side. What about the other side?
I've already got a wood carver on that side, and I have a couple other things going on.
Okay.
I'm already 100% booked for the farm festival, so I have no open spaces, and I get emails every day. I just got another one for somebody that wants another space, so I'm.
Okay. I don't know if we're going to be able to make any changes then other than what you proposed. So I think next year we need to maybe talk about it, but I don't know what we can do as far as this year if your books spaces wise.
I mean, if you really want to, I mean, I can. The reason we moved the demo derby and the tractor pull for the kids over to Park Street was to get away from the loudness of the entertainment at the gazebo. I mean, I can move it back over onto Church, that portion. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space. It was just getting it away so it was easier to communicate with the hundreds of kids that show up. But I can move that back over and we can leave park open till Sunday.
I don't know if that's gonna make much of a difference to the whole thing. I'm just apt to say leave them all closed.
And like you said, like the chief said, as far as, it's either open or
Yeah.
closed.
Right.
That way they
Be
know,
too
that way they
confusing.
know.
Yeah, I
One way or the
think I'm apt to just say leave it the way it is.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Next year, maybe we try to figure out a way that we can move the stage or move the food vendors or something else and see if we can work it out. Just to keep Day Street open. I don't know.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
Any other questions for Mr. McKay?
No.
Thank you, Mark.
Yep.
Thank you.
If there are no other persons from the public that would like to address the board, I will close that portion and we will go on to correspondence in the public portion.
Correspondence dated April 26, 2023 was received from Lauren Boyle, President of Embrace Fredonia, requesting Trustee Syracuse be the liaison to their organization.
Be it resolved that the request for Trustee Syracuse to be liaison to Embrace Fredonia is hereby approved.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried. Any other-
Correspondence was received from Mark Mackey, Chairman of the Fredonia Farm Festival, requesting to schedule the 55 Annual Fredonia Farm Festival for the weekend of August 25th through the 27th, 2023.
Be it resolved that the request from Festivals Fredonia to hold the Fredonia Farm Festival the weekend of August 26th to 28th is hereby approved, and be it further resolved that the following request is hereby approved. The Fredonia Farm Festival have exclusive access and use of the east and west Barker Commons. The Fredonia Farm Festival may use the parking facility off Water Street to accommodate the vendors and crafters' cars, trucks, and trailers. The gazebo will be used August 24th to the 27th for the purpose of musical entertainment, opening ceremonies, car show, and setup for vendors that weekend. The craft vendors be permitted to set up their booths after 1:30 p.m. the afternoon of Thursday, August 24th, 2023, and the food vendors be permitted to set up at 5 p.m. on August 24th, 2023. All booths will be open at noon on Friday, August 25th, 2023. That Church Street between Center Street and Temple Street and Day Street be closed from 4:30 p.m. August 24th, 2023 to 8 p.m. August 27th, 2023. That Day Street between Church Street and Main Street be closed from 4:30 p.m. August 24th, 2023 to 8 p.m. on August 27th, 2023. That Park Street between Church Street and Main Street be closed from 4:30 p.m. on August 24th, 2023 to 8 p.m. on August 27th, 2023. That Temple Street from Risley Street to Main Street is temporarily closed on Sunday, August 27th, 2023, from 12:45 p.m. to 2 p.m. for the annual Farm Festival Parade. Lineup for the parade will be at the corner of Risley and Temple Streets. Parade to start at 1 p.m. That Fredonia Police provide police escort, if available, for the Fredonia Farm Festival 5K starting at 8 a.m. on Saturday, August 26th, 2023. The route starts on Church Street, turns left on Temple, right on Central, left into the college, around Ring Road, right onto Lakeway Drive, left onto Brigham Road, left onto Temple, and back to Church Street. That the Village Hall parking lot, first 2 rows only, may be used August 24th to the 27th, 2023, starting after 5 p.m. on the 24th for large dumpster, toilet facilities, and concession trucks and trailers. Use of outside electrical outlets and AC outlet on Village Hall for the use of the main stage. Use of water hookups for the concessions. The bagging of parking meters on Day Street and Park Street on Thursday, August 24th until 8 p.m. Sunday, August 27th, 2023. The bagging of parking meters on Main Street by each park for the use of handicapped customers from 7 a.m. Friday, August 25th until 8 p.m. Saturday, August 27th, 2023. That sidewalks downtown be open during the festival to the local merchants to take advantage of pedestrian traffic. That additional picnic tables and garbage cans be provided for the festival. The use of 2 parking spaces on Day Street in front of Village Hall parking lot across from the post office for the refrigerated truck that all concessions share. That the open container law be suspended during the festival to allow us to have Merit Winery as a vendor selling wine slushies. They will be sold from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday and 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. That a large banner be hung across Temple Street from August 11th, 2023 to August 27th, 2022. Oh, 23, sorry. The Fredonia Farm Festival will comply with the Fredonia Village Board's request in regards to the following. No vendors between the sidewalks and the curbs along Route 20. The number of vendors is subject to the Board of Trustees receiving a plan showing the number and location of all designated vendor spaces to allow water hookups August 25th to the 27th, 2023. No vendors shall sell distasteful adult items. Trash will be picked up on an as-needed basis and nothing left overnight. Walkways will not be obstructed. Electric wires will be properly protected to prevent accidents. Festivals Fredonia will provide the Village of Fredonia with an insurance certificate showing the Village of Fredonia as an additional insured in the amount of $1 million. Copies of the policy will also be provided to the Fredonia Fire Department, Fredonia Police Department, and DFT Communication for signage. Farm Festival activities subject to the direction of Fredonia Police Department.
Second. I was just thinking about something for a second. Remember that. Did we want to add from Center to on Center up to Barker for closure? We had talked about that.
I don't think so.
I think we'll just leave it like it is.
Okay.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Trustee Linden,
Aye.
trustee Twitchell,
Aye.
trustee Byrd,
Aye.
trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Correspondence dated April 20th, 2023 was received from Hunter Halterman, General Manager of Fredonia Radio Systems, requesting the use of Barker Common West with gazebo for the annual Rockin' the Commons event Saturday, September 23rd, 2023.
Be it resolved that the permission is hereby granted to Hunter Halterman, General Manager of Fredonia Radio Systems, to use Barker Commons and the gazebo for annual Rockin' the Commons charity event to benefit Roswell Park Cancer Institute of Buffalo on Saturday, September 23rd, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And be it further resolved that the above use of the gazebo is subject to the direction of the Fredonia Police Department, and be it further resolved that this resolution is subject to the receipt of a certificate of insurance naming the Village of Fredonia as an additional insured in the amount of $1 million.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden,
Aye.
trustee Twitchell,
Aye.
trustee Byrd,
Aye.
trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Correspondence dated May 3rd, 2023 was received from Larry Barter, Secretary for the Fredonia Volunteer Fire Department, requesting Kathleen Morano be added to the active role.
Be it resolved that the request from the Volunteer Fire Department to add Kathleen Morano, East Main Road, Fredonia, New York, to the active role of the Hook and Ladder Company is hereby approved.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden,
Aye.
trustee Twitchell,
Aye.
trustee Byrd,
Aye.
trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Correspondence dated May 8th, 2023 was received from Larry Barter, Secretary for the Fredonia Volunteer Fire Department, notifying the Board of Trustees of the intention to participate, the members who were elected to office, and the officers elected by the companies for the 2023-24 year.
Be resolved, the intention to participate, the elected members and the officers elected to the companies for the 2023-24 year as attached to these minutes are hereby approved.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden,
Aye.
trustee Twitchell,
Aye.
trustee Byrd,
Aye.
trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried. Move on to our reports. I have several items to report tonight for the past 2 weeks. I hope all our moms out had a happy Mother's Day yesterday. The day was a very nice one, and I hope you all enjoyed it. I attended the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce Business After Hours this past Thursday. Many of our local community businesses were represented, and it is always a great time to spend time and get to know all of our business leaders and our community members. I was honored to attend the 22nd anniversary of the Chautauqua County Workers Memorial Program held last weekend in Frewsburg. A bell was rung in honor and remembrance of each person from Chautauqua County who have been killed on the job or in the line of duty or died from a job-related cause. A wreath was placed on a memorial, and there were a lot of speakers who spoke in honor of the large list of residents that have passed on. It was a solemn event that was well attended. Fredonia Troop 267 held an Eagle Court of Honor on Sunday, May 8th to congratulate new Eagle Scout Cooper Stanger. The ceremony honored Cooper for all of his accomplishments in scouting and the leadership and the perseverance he showed completing his Eagle Scout project here in the village. He led a group of workers and completed the SUNY Fredonia Remembrance and Reflection Garden on the campus to remember all students who passed away before finishing their academic careers at SUNY Fredonia. The garden used pavers and benches that formed the shape of a peace sign and plantings that enhanced the area. The garden is located on Ring Road, and I encourage our community to check out this project when on campus. Being an Eagle Scout dad myself, I am always proud of the scouts that achieved this level of accomplishment, and I provided him with a proclamation honoring all his efforts. The Fredonia Fire Department annual installation banquet was held last weekend. Many of our career and volunteer firefighters were in attendance, as well as other representatives from other neighboring departments and several other politicians who support our fire service. Myself and Fire Chief Josh Myers installed the career and volunteer officers for the ensuing year. Many service, merit, and life-saving awards were given. I want to congratulate all of the award recipients and thank all of our career and volunteer staff who keep our property and lives safe in our community each and every day. I'm very grateful for each of my fellow firefighters and their service to all of us. And that is all I have to report tonight. Thank you. I'll move on to Trustee Linden.
I don't have any other reports.
Thank you. Trustee Twitchell.
I don't have any reports.
Thank you. Trustee Bird.
Francesca Seisel's not here tonight, but she's looking to start a community garden, and she's looking for volunteers to help with setting it up, rototilling, planting things, fencing, and any other materials that anybody would like to donate or time that they'd like to involve. So if anybody wants to get in touch with her in the rec department, I know she's looking for help and volunteers. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Syracuse.
Embrace Planting Day will be June 4th, starting at 9 a.m. You can sign up via Messenger. It's not required, but it is helpful. Groups, organizations, individuals, and families are all welcome. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anything for the treasurer's report?
Nothing tonight.
Thank you. Anything from the clerk's report?
No.
Thank you. Department officers who are here. Anything from wastewater treatment plant?
No report.
Thank you. Police department?
We had a very busy weekend last week, and I just want to thank the Fredonia Heating and Plumbing. They sent us a lot of food and were worried about us, and we actually had a lot of local residents extend their kindness that weekend. I just want to thank them. Let you know that there were people that were watching over us.
It's very nice to know that our community appreciates what we do. Thank you. Chief Myers.
For April, 159 responses. 103 of them were EMS, handling 7 simultaneous transports. Some other noteworthy things is throughout this reporting month, we conducted 444 training hours. We had 1 member complete interior firefighting operations. We had 4 members complete rescue technician basic, and we had 5 members complete emergency vehicle operators course. We had 3 additional operational Wednesday night drills and 1 fire company meeting on the other Wednesday. The feedback that I've gotten tells me that this is the most concurrent training that we've done in a very long time. So I want to thank them for their continued efforts. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anything from the DPW, sir?
We got our flushing, annual flushing scheduled starting next Monday, May 21st. So we'll start on the far end of town, south end, and what's north. We'll advertise in the paper and everything, but just so everybody knows, they see water running in the streets. It's hopefully not a break, but it is. We've had 4 breaks in the last week, so hopefully we're done with those. All the playgrounds are open. Everything's looking pretty good.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Lewis, anything from water treatment?
Nothing to report this time.
Okay, thank you. Additional reports, please.
The Fredonia Justice Court report for the month of April 2023. Total number of cases closed 107. Of those, vehicle and traffic 88, criminal 18, civil cases 1. Total fines and surcharges $4,138. Parking ticket fines $4,360 for a total of $8,498. The Fredonia Police Department report for the month of April 2023. Total incidents reported 1,150. Fredonia Central School calls for service 1. Accidents 17. Arrests reported 31. Vehicle and traffic incidents, 127, domestic incidents, 15, parking tickets, 74. Those are all the reports I have.
Thank you. We'll move on to resolutions, please.
Be it resolved that pursuant to Section 5-520 of Village Law, the following budget transfers are hereby approved. $290 from A7110.44 Parks Contractual to A7110.41 Parks Supplies. $100 from A1210.41 Mayor Supplies to A1210.42 Mayor Utilities Telephone. $3,500 from A3410.41 Fire Supplies to A3410.42 Fire Utilities. $1,600 from A3410.44 Fire Contractual to A3410.42 Fire Utilities. $1,300 from A4540.49 Ambulance Maintenance Equipment to A3410.42 Fire Utilities. $4,000 from A3410.2 Fire Equipment Safety to A3410.49 Fire Maintenance Equipment. $900 from A4540.43 Ambulance Training to A4540.41 Ambulance Supplies. $300 from A341.47 Fire Gasoline to A4540.49 Ambulance Maintenance Equipment. $11,000 from A3410.47 Fire Gasoline to A3410.2 Fire Equipment Safety. $500 from A3410.2 Fire Equipment Safety to A4540.41 Ambulance Supplies. $1,000 from A3410.2 Fire Equipment Safety to A3410.41 Fire Supplies.
I second.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Be it resolved that pursuant to Section 5-520 of Village Law, the following budget transfers are hereby approved. $250,000 from general fund balance to H3410.2 Capital Fire Department aerial truck.
Trustee Byrd.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Be it resolved that the Village of Fredonia Board of Trustees hereby approves the lactation policy as written and attached to these minutes.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia has partnered with SUNY's Fredonia School of Music, and whereas a positive project that showcases the collaboration between SUNY Fredonia and the community would have a positive impact, and whereas a piano from the Street Piano Project, SSP, would be placed in Barker Common West next to the gazebo, installation and maintenance at no cost to the Village of Fredonia, now therefore be resolved that the placement of an SPP piano on Barker Commons placed on the east side of the gazebo on the existing brick is hereby approved.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Be it resolved that the redesigned Fredonia Fire Department patch is hereby approved by the Board of Trustees.
I second that.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Whereas the village requires a new aerial truck and pumper truck for the fire department, and whereas Empire Emergency Apparatus Inc., Wyoming, Minnesota, has offered a Rosenbauer aerial with Commander chassis for $1,977,122 with a prepayment discount of $69,668, and a Rosenbauer pumper with Rosenbauer Commander chassis for $981,861 with a prepayment discount of $37,672. Whereas the purchase of Rosenberg King Cobra Rosenbauer EXT pumper through Empire Emergency Apparatus Inc. will be purchased on a Sourcewell awarded contract. Financing will be through Community Leasing Partners. Therefore, be it resolved, the Village Board hereby authorizes the purchase of the Rosenbauer pumper and the Rosenbauer aerial truck, authorizing the treasurer to sign forthcoming contract after final review of the Village Legal Department for $2,591,034 after a down payment of $250,000 made by the Fredonia Volunteer Fire Department and all applicable discounts.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Be it resolved that the grievance filed on behalf of the CSEA requesting provisions be maintained at the water filtration plant is hereby resolved, and the mayor is hereby authorized to sign settlement agreement attached to these minutes between the CSEA and the Village of Fredonia.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Be it resolved that the grievance filed on behalf of the CSEA regarding discipline initially given to a water filtration plant operator is hereby resolved, and the mayor is hereby authorized to sign settlement agreement attached to these minutes between the CSEA and the Village of Fredonia.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Be it resolved that Aaron Riforgiato, Pecor Street, Portland, New York, is hereby appointed to the position of full-time police officer per his eligibility with civil service as being a lateral move with the Village of Fredonia Police Department at an hourly rate of $30.37. Subject to civil service rules and regulations, this appointment shall be effective Thursday, June 1st, 2023.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia has determined a need for a part-time account clerk at the fire station, and whereas Chautauqua County has determined the position is non-competitive, now therefore, be it resolved that the village clerk is hereby authorized to advertise for said position in the Observer, the official newspaper of the Village of Fredonia.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Be it resolved that the regular and overtime payrolls of the various village departments and bills approved by the Finance Committee and set forth in abstract number 665 through 672 are hereby approved and directed, paid, and filed in the village clerk's office, 911 Church Street, Fredonia, New York.
I'll second that.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Whereas the village requires a service maintenance contract for the equipment at the filtration plant, and whereas Hack Company, Medina, New York, has offered to provide a maintenance contract to include calibrations, technical calls, and yearly maintenance for a yearly price of $12,674.02. And whereas the contract is necessary for the village's purpose to maintain the equipment processing the water for the Village of Fredonia. Therefore, be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes entering into the maintenance agreement for 1 year with the HA for $12,674.02.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried.
Whereas the village requires the repair of Fairbags pump, including all labor parts and painting of the pump at the filtration plant, and whereas Fluid Kinetics Orchard Park has offered to repair the pump as an emergency project for $26,229.30, and whereas this repair is necessary for the village's purpose, and if not repaired, leaves the village with one pump to run the plant, therefore be it resolved that the village board hereby authorizes Fluid Kinetics to perform the necessary repairs for $26,229.30.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.
Carried. Just want to thank the board. You passed a number of resolutions tonight, both in the fire department, police department, and our water treatment plant for the public safety. And it's, these are good things. I'm glad we're working on improving things to keep our public safe, whether it's first response or the water that we drink. So thank you very much for passing these resolutions on behalf of the village and myself. The next Village Fredonia Workshop and Board Meeting will take place Tuesday, May 30th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. in the Trustee Room, second floor, Village Hall. Can I have a motion to enter into executive session, please?
So motioned.
I make a motion to enter into executive session for matters pertaining to employment of individuals with the village.
Would you like to second that?
Second.
It's been a motion and a second to enter into executive session. Trustee Linden.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Byrd.
Aye.
Trustee Syracuse.
Aye.